Guys, so yesterday I started the fall cleanup, and it wasn't intentional. I went out and added some white artificial pumpkins to my black window box for the rest of the season because I want through the month of November to look more Thanksgiving-ish, and I think pumpkins do that. And then it led to me looking at what's in that front landscape and the side landscape. Um, and so I just started cleaning up. And I have some pictures here that'll show you what I did. What I found out yesterday was not only do I love the cleanup, but what it gives us time to do with the cleanup is you touch every plant and you forget what you planted in the spring, you forget what you transplanted, and it gives you a chance to take a look at their health. For example, I planted the scabiosa early in the spring. It looks good. It bloomed a little bit, it cut back. It's this first season. Next year it'll be better. Um, and it gives you time to assess, are you happy with this garden? And I am happy with this garden. And I went ahead and did this garden. I like to call this the terraced area, which I, incorporate as one area. And I was walking into this garden area, which I never walk into. This is my Caraopterus, and it was really full and it was clear to the ground. And I limbed it up. You don't normally want to cut back your Caraopterus until spring, and then you cut it back by 12 to 15 inches. So I'll cut it back in the spring once you see blooms again. But I went ahead and limbed it up, and I did some editing in the inside. And as I walked back in here to cut off the irises, I keep forgetting about this wonderful double play doozy spirea that I planted last year because these blooms are absolutely beautiful. This is its true first season. It'll get 2 by 3, but these colors are phenomenal. And the fall color, you can see it's starting to get some pretty goldish color to it. Again, it gives you the time to look at these things. And I don't want to, this was covering up poor little Anna, what is it called? Anna's Bell Arborvitae. It'll stay that small. This has been here 3 years. I like how compact that is. So when you come out to do your fall cleanup, it's not overwhelming. I'll be just cleaning back daylilies. You've seen me do that 100 times. But the big thing on my list today was I'm gathering leaves from the willow tree. You'll see little piles throughout the yard because my garlic came up, and the garlic was planted the 1st of October, and you can see it was dry when I planted this. We had been in a drought for 4 weeks. All of September was dry, and then that first week of October. But anyhow, you can use leaves. You can use, I've always used my regular landscape. What is that called? Mulch. Thank you, Raj. You can use grass clippings, straw, but it also mentioned you can use these willow leaves, and you want at least 2 to 3 inches of mulch on them. And I will finish that out. But these will all decompose. I always put my leaves on my compost pile, but they're going to be used for my mulch for my.
That might help the garlic.
Last year we had that cold spell. Even though I had it mulched with my landscape mulch, these green tops, it's done this before. Don't worry about that if you have a freeze. They'll grow back in the spring and summer, and I'm just going to keep a good eye on it. If we start having those 20 below zero nights, I'm putting a cover over these. I just think it just got too cold and froze my bulbs out, and I didn't have a really good harvest. So that was my big thing today, is to get the leaves on those. But otherwise, I'm going to be cutting back, the beds, making them look tidier. I don't mind cutting. I've cut back my daylilies once, but I like to come in this time of year, and this is just what I do, and then pull out any of the dead. It makes my spring cleanup, and it'll make your spring cleanup that much easier. The less I have to do in the spring, that's how I feel about it. And it smells good here because this is that wonderful scented geranium. So we'll take care of that. This is my Caraopterus. It just gets cut back to the ground. If you have any Caraopterus, cut it clear back to the ground. I'll be doing that today. Some things I won't be cutting back. I'm going to leave my sedum autumn joy. Sometimes I leave those. Usually I leave these through the winter because the birds like the seed heads. Over here, the other thing, like this is a new plant for me too. This is rose campion. I've never grown it, and it looks so nice and healthy, but I'm going to cut back this stem to clear back in here and make certain it looks nice for the fall. What I have done too, when it comes to my Robinia bonariensis, the seed heads, if you put this in your compost, and I put some of it in, because I do want the seeds in my compost, because I like when it comes up on its own throughout my garden all year round, because it's not invasive to me. It is an easy little plant to control. When it's coming up, all you do is this. You just pull it out of the ground, get rid of it, and it's not a problem. But I will keep some of that in my compost so that I can have it throughout my garden, because I love how it looks just coming up. It just blooms all year round, and it stays upright. The other thing I've done today, this is a grass I've had for it. I've tried to get rid of this grass.
Where was it?
It was in this bed, and I don't like it. I've been trying to get rid of it for years. So
yeah, I don't recognize it.
It's very sharp. It hurts. It cuts. So I dug this big clump up when I was in here getting ready to cut back the asters. The leaves have fallen off the asters, but with these asters, you cut them to the ground, at least 2 inches from the ground. Here's some little buttercups. I'm getting those all cleaned up. And if there's any weeds, you want to weed too. But these asters are coming out. They're done. I'll do that today. Just get out of this way so I can get in the back and show you what else. Like I said, basic cleanup. The salvia, this blue salvia in front, according to the lovely, when I was over at the garden center between here and Elkins, the woman that encouraged Highland Nursery, yeah, she encouraged us to go ahead and get the salvia. She says this will come back in our area. We're zone 6 in West Virginia, and I hope so, because it's a beautiful plant. I love it at the front of the border. It's great in arrangements. So I'm going to see if it'll come back for us. I've got 2 nice clumps of it. We'll see what's happening there. When I get back in here, this is my garden phlox, and I want it to have a frost on it before I cut it back. The forecast is showing a chance of frost. So I'm hoping that this will frost. I won't cut that back till it's time. This is another aster back in here. No, it's not an aster. I'll think of the name of that plant, but you can tell it's ready to go. Everything else that's green will get cut. I'm going to leave the cosmos because they're too pretty. Until they get frosted, I'm going to come out here later and cut a little bouquet so we can have a pretty little flower bouquet for dinner. And these little rose buds will get cut tonight and put in a little vase in the bedroom because they're just so pretty. They'll get cut before I'm finished today. And then I've gone ahead, and the annual coleuses I've already pulled out of this bed because this is all the further I'm going today when I'm working out here. I'm not going to do this part until later this week. And it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be pull up the annuals. I'm going to go through the zinnias. I will probably pull these today. They look pretty shabby. And get them cut off and see if there's any pretty ones left. I'll pull those. That's easy to do. But I'll work in here today, cutting back the daylilies. I'll let my lovely morning glories stay on the arbors and on the compost pile because they just look so pretty until the frost gets them, and they're easier to pull off once the frost hits. The other thing I did yesterday, I did get part of the compost moved. Let me show you what I did.
Go.
So I moved the composted compost that was here into this pile. That's what I have left from this year's composted pile. And I'm hoping one day this week I need to get this pile moved over there. It's really nice under here. You can see how it's composted. I am a fan of using the compost starter. Thanks, Reg.
From the Spoma.
Yes, that you picked up on sale. And your compost will continue to compost through the winter. You don't, this will be the last time I stir it though. You don't want to stir it through the winter because you want to keep all that heat in the center of it.
Kill all the seeds.
Yeah, so that it will be composting. So once I finish my little bit of cleanup, I'm going to move this sometime this week. That'll be the last time I move it. And I'm just impressed with, gosh, how much it's composted. To the past years we've had a compost pile, and it has taken years to see any kind of decomposition like this.
Yeah.
I mean, that is going to be ready to use come spring next year. And that's what I need, because I love to, my compost is what I use on my garden. I don't use a whole lot of fertilizers at all. I just use the natural stuff. I will add a little biotone here and there, but I did that yesterday, and that made me so happy. I love doing all of this. You
were happy last time.
I love doing all of this, and the weather's perfect to do this kind of work. You know, it's a great change. I like change of seasons, but that's it on Gardening on the West Fork. Just going to be cleaning up. I'm going to be touching each plant, and it makes me very joyful. And it should make you joyful too, to touch all your plants and see how they're doing. So anyhow, we'll see you in the next video on Gardening on the West Fork.